And hey, we're 1 minute past the hour, so let's go ahead and have an official start date or start time. Everybody, if you don't know who I am, where the heck have you been? I'm David Kinder. I'm the admin of the insurance discussion group, and I'm just glad to bring together some great advanced minded thinking to help us all do a better job of engaging with people and to share the best things that we can do to have those conversations and such. And Tyson's one of the best at doing that. And I've heard a lot of good things within our industry, including, and I'm sure you'll show some testimonials because you're good like that. Because I know Antonio Filippone has used you. I've seen Kelly, I can't remember her last name right now, but I've seen her sing your
Yeah.
praises and such. And when I hear my peers praising somebody, I'm like, okay, we gotta showcase them and show what can we do to harness this for ourselves, and how can we do a better job. So Tyson, I'm going to be taking notes. I'm not going to have a whole lot to offer, I don't think, unless I'm going to ask, like, well, what if we do it this way? I don't know. But take it away. You've got a whole program, and I'm looking forward to learning.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, first off, thanks for having me, David. I really appreciate you setting this up to begin with. The Facebook group is awesome. When you have a second, can you allow screen sharing so I can I have a presentation?
Yes, I will. I'll just make you the host.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
And there we are, done.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so as I go through this presentation, feel free to ask any questions if something doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm a pretty open book when it comes to everything that I do, what our company does. Man, there's even things like, I don't know, case design. I'll share a little bit of my background in just a minute, but there's stuff like that in the industry that I just absolutely love. And so to this day, like I'll still do a lot of case design and like nerd out on different options with clients and stuff. So if you have any questions about anything inside of here, ask away. All right. So with this presentation specifically, I want to cover how to create digital marketing systems that attract, nurture, and convert affluent prospects for you. And that's all without cold calling, door knocking, or wasting money on ads. So with our company specifically, like I'll tell you straight up, we are not your mortgage protection, lead specialist. We don't do final expense leads. Not that there's anything wrong with those markets or products. There are great people that do it way better than we do. And so if somebody's looking for that, I will happily show you, who we trust or strategic partners. But with us, we typically work with advisors who enjoy working with business owners, high income earning professionals like doctors, dentists, attorneys, CPAs, or high net worth individuals. And so all of our systems are designed to get those types of clients and prospects booking themselves on your calendar. So with this, if you are one of those professionals or agents that you hear that term marketing and you're like, yikes, you start to clench up, you get that sinking feeling in your stomach, I want you to take a deep breath and relax. So my background, and I'll share a little bit more of that in just a minute, but I come from a producer background working with life insurance carriers. And so that's something that, like, these systems I developed out of necessity. It was something that I needed for myself and for the advisors that I was working with. And I'm not super tech savvy. I'm not your typical millennial, hey, I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you, X, Y, and Z, how to build a computer, all that. That is not me. And so with the marketing, I had to make it as simple as possible for myself. And so one of my favorite testimonials that I ever received was from one of our clients named Mike. And so Mike sent me this text and he's like, hey, this is the first marketing I've done and actually made money. It's nice, right? And so I got a good laugh out of that. So he had never seen success with his marketing, either in the digital world or in the real world. And so within the first month, we helped him generate a client that I believe was around $40,000 in revenue just from that one client and his wife out of the systems that we created. And so that's what I want to help you be able to achieve. So when it comes to our systems, you don't need to be a marketing wizard. You don't need to be super techie. You don't need to be a social media influencer or a Facebook or Google or whatever ads expert. You don't even need to be comfortable with digital marketing. What you do need to be is able to work with those business owners, those high income earning professionals and high net worth individuals. And you have to enjoy working with those types of prospects. If you don't enjoy those markets, it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for us. That burnout is going to happen really fast. So one of the bonuses in this as well is if you are able to pivot toward either multiple sales concepts or products, if you're able to take that sale in different directions based on a client's pain points, that's really good as well. So it can't necessarily be a one-trick pony with these systems, because as we generate, let's say you're getting in front of a business owner, there are a number of different pain points that business owner may be experiencing. So being able to identify the sales opportunities and then present and close effectively definitely is a bonus in this process. So my
So
main,
Tyson,
yeah.
if I may, what you're really saying is we want to track the person, not
Mhm.
necessarily promoting everything as a single concept. We want to track the right people and
Correct.
have the ability to work with them with whatever they've got going on, not necessarily, hey, I've got the greatest widget and I want to make sure I sell it to doctors.
Correct. Yep. Yep. Exactly. And so one of the things that you'll find also, especially in these markets, is you may attract somebody with a specific concept, right? So let's say you're going out there and you're talking about tax-free retirement. Somebody may come to you and they're like, man, tax-free retirement, that sounds really cool. And so that's what they think is their biggest financial pain point. But as you get deeper into a discussion with them, you really want to run a diagnostic approach, right? So you're going through, you're talking to them, you're saying, hey, tell me about your goals, tell me about what you're doing right now. You may find out in that process, hey, retirement, they're all set, but what about asset-based long-term care? What about if it's a business owner? Hey, how are you going to get out of your business without, disrupting your financial goals or whatever it might be? So being able to identify those different pain points and help them see, hey, you may think you need X, but you really need Y, and then we'll address the other stuff later. It's very important in that process. So with these systems, my primary goal and the goal of our company is to get you off of what I call the marketing roller coaster. Now, the marketing roller coaster goes a little bit something like this. So let's say and I guarantee that we've all experienced this at some point in our business, right? So what happens is we wake up one day and we look at our pipeline and we're staring at it and we're like, man, either it's completely empty, it's not as full as we want it to be, it's not as consistent as we want it to be. And so we start doing everything we can to get that pipeline filled up. So we start doing the dirty work of, cold calling and door knocking and paying for ads, and we're basically doing whatever it takes to get that pipeline filled up. And so because we're focusing all of our attention, our time and resources on that pipeline, it does start to fill up. But as it starts to fill up, one of two things is going to happen. The first one is that you are going to get busy, right? You didn't sign up to be a marketer. You signed up to help clients. You signed up to close business, design cases. And so that marketing, like, because you don't want to do it, is going to get pushed onto the back burner, right? So that's scenario number one. Scenario number two is that you just simply get burned out. Again, you didn't sign up to be a marketer. You signed up to be a life insurance advisor, a financial advisor. And so that burnout's going to happen. And again, marketing gets put on the back burner. And as soon as it does, if you don't have that right system in place, that pipeline is going to start drying up until, again, you wake up one day and you're like, man, it's not as full as I want it to be. It's not as consistent. And then all of a sudden you start focusing again and you get into the cycle of ups and downs, which it's exhausting. I mean, being on that marketing roller coaster can be extremely exhausting. So that's what we want to help you avoid. So before I get into that, I know several of you on this call. Yeah, it's just in the names that are here. So there are quite a few members in that professional life insurance agent discussion group that we've either worked with or had discussions with. But for those who don't know who I am, you're probably like, okay, who is Tyson Bailey? Who's this guy talking about marketing and these systems and stuff? So I grew up around financial experts. I was extremely fortunate in that regard. My grandpa was a CPA. One of my earliest jobs that I can remember was as a janitor for his office. So had that. My dad was a tax planning attorney, estate planning attorney, financial planner. And then when I was in high school, he was the advanced planning consultant for a major life insurance carrier's Western region. And that's when he really started bringing me into the business. And so again, it was at first it's janitorial work, it's shredding documents, it's filing paperwork. Again, that stuff that nobody likes to do. That was my job. But eventually it morphed into him having me essentially create the presentations that he would either give to retail clients or to advisors. And so that's where I started to gain a passion for the industry. And I had that in-house expert to be able to ask those dumb questions to, where it's like, hey, what is life insurance? Why do people need it? And then doing presentations for life insurance and retirement planning, dynasty trust, legacy and estate planning. And so that's where I developed that passion. And I knew that I wanted to go that direction with a career. I didn't know what it would look like. But coming out of college, I actually got hired by Penn Mutual to be one of their regional case designers. So that's what got me down to Arizona originally, right after I married my wife. That's her on the screen and my three kids. But I worked for Penn Mutual for a little bit. Absolutely loved it. Was able to meet some great mentors, some great regional directors, regional marketing directors that I still speak with to this day. But I decided to transition from there over to a marketing company. And essentially, I was hired by this marketing company to oversee all of their national clients that had an insurance component that we were selling to them. So we would put together discount and loyalty programs for other organizations. And a part of that was selling health insurance, life insurance, disability, long-term care. So I was able to keep my a solid foundation on the insurance and financial side while getting my feet wet in the marketing world. And I had a boss who was, I don't know how I got this lucky, but he gave me a really long leash. And so I was overseeing the accounts, some of these national accounts like the Home Depot, Remax, PF Chang's, Kaplan. We had the NAACP, we had the Second Amendment Foundation. And essentially, I was overseeing all of the email marketing, all of the direct mail marketing, selling these insurance products. And so I took what I learned there, realized that I had a passion for marketing, jumped over to a national financial consulting company and a brokerage where I was able to wear a lot of hats in that process. So I was doing personal production at the time. I was doing case design. I was doing marketing. I was operations. I was IT. And that's where I really, like I mentioned before, that's where I really had to develop these systems for myself. So if I boil it all down to its basics, I was either working on a case for myself or designing cases for advisors. And if I did not have an active case, it was my job to go out and do the marketing to either attract advisors or attract more clients. And this is where, I mean, it was frustrating and beneficial at the same time, is a good way to put it. So at that marketing company, I had a lot of resources in place that I just took for granted. I had a full-time sales team. I had a full-time creative team. I had an unlimited budget where I was like, hey, Mr. Boss, I want to run this, test campaign. And you'd be like, okay, Tyson, how much is it going to cost? About $10,000 to $15,000. All right, go for it. Go run it. Well, now at this company, it's like, hey, you are the sales team. You are the marketing team. You are the case design team. And then anything that I'm doing, it's coming out of my pocket. It's my time, my time that I'm spending. My wife was pregnant with our son at the time. And so she's not super happy if I'm going to go out and spend $5,000 on a test campaign. And so that's where I started having to develop these systems for myself. Again, and trying to save my marriage at the time so that I wasn't spending my wife's money or anything like that. But one of the things that I heard all the time at this company, or that during this process, is we were working with some top advisors who, again, we're dealing with business owners, the high net worth market, high income earning professionals. And I would hear all the time, hey, Tyson, I could talk a starving dog off a food truck. I just need more people to talk to. And so I started analyzing where everybody was at in this process, right? So they had pieces of what I call the marketing puzzle, but it was not, they weren't necessarily putting that whole marketing puzzle together. So they'd either send out an email occasionally, they would have a website, maybe post on social media occasionally, maybe try a direct mail campaign, but it was more piecemeal than anything, right? And so I realized that, especially with the advisors that we were dealing with, I mean, we were close, like the average case size was probably $50,000 in target or more with these advisors. And I realized that, hey, they can, you can have a great website, you can have great products and knowledge and sales skills, but what does it matter if nobody sees it? What does it matter if you have nobody to talk to? And so I started studying the current methods that were being used. So if I had an advisor come to me with a case, I was like, hey, how did you land this client? Where'd you get them? And so there was door knocking, there was cold calling, asking for referrals, online ads, occasionally Facebook, Google, whatever. But I realized that these can be effective, but they were either time intensive or required some sort of technical learning or experience. And that would result in lost money if you didn't do it right. I realized pretty quickly that Mark Zuckerberg would gladly take my dollars, even if I never saw a return on the money that I gave him, right? And so that kind of turned me off pretty quickly to the Facebook ad side. Again, there is nothing wrong with Facebook ads. There's a place for everything. I'm not saying don't do it, but for me at the time, I couldn't do it. I didn't have the means to do it. And so I had to go out and I started trying to study where or how other industries were doing this, right? Where were they getting clients? How was I being marketed to? And there was a concept I learned in this process that has been key to everything that we've done moving forward. And it's go where your prospects are, right? So I had to try to figure out, okay, where do my prospects hang out? Where are these business owners? Where are these doctors? Where are these, high net worth individuals? And so if you go to any restaurant, I don't care if it's a McDonald's or it's the best steakhouse in the city, right? you're going to look around and you're going to see people on their phones. They're scrolling through Facebook, they're scrolling through social media, they're checking emails, right? And so that was a very strong light bulb moment for me where it's like, hey, my prospects are on social media, right? I guarantee whoever I'm looking to target, they are there. But which platform do I use? You've got YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest. I mean, it can get overwhelming really fast. So again, going back to this concept of go where your prospects are, right? So it doesn't matter who you're looking to attract, you need to find the platform that your prospects are using to hang out. Now, for me, for high converting professionals, those business owners and high net worth individuals, LinkedIn is the perfect place for those people. And I'll explain that in just a moment of why that works. But taking everything that I learned in that process, that's where I was able to figure out the systems that would work the best for me, for my advisors, and especially in this market, to where, again, developing all this out of necessity, to where it's like, okay, how can I put this all together so it's a cohesive system, so that whether I am, out working with a client, whether I'm working with an advisor, how can I have this system that attracts, nurtures, and converts these prospects for me without me needing to handhold my prospects every step along the way? And so putting those systems together, we've been able to have a number of successes in this process. We're constantly optimizing these systems, but that's how we got to where we are with these marketing systems that are designed to attract, nurture, and convert affluent prospects. So one of the ways that we're different than some other organizations out there, again, there's no one size fits all, right? So there are great organizations out there. There are people that are doing fantastic stuff. One of the things that we need to recognize in this process is that when it comes to your marketing, you can't pay your bills with connections and conversations. You can't pay your bills with Facebook likes. You can't pay your bills with a direct message that goes out. So putting that system together, you need to have something that attracts, nurtures, and converts those prospects for you. So that's what we're going to be going through. All right. So here's the agenda that I have laid out. So number one, excuse me, we're going to talk about the key to attracting those high net worth business owner and high converting prospects on demand. Number two, how to get these coveted prospects to take action and digitally raise the hand, asking to learn more about who you are and what you offer. And then number three, how to capitalize on every opportunity with your prospects. And then to wrap it all up, I'll just let you know a couple of different resources that we have available and where you can go from there. So diving right into it. Number one, the key to getting unlimited high net worth business owner and high converting prospects on demand. And this is going to be without cold calling, door knocking, wasting money on ads, buying email lists. The list goes on and on and on, right? So going back to what I was saying before, right? Again, this is key. No matter what audience you want to attract, no matter what space you're in, you need to go where your prospects are. So for us, the niche that we've been able to carve out currently is on LinkedIn, right? So we're looking for high converting professionals, business owners, and high net worth individuals. So the reason for this, and one of the most powerful aspects of this, is there's this concept called pre-framing. Now, pre-framing is all about getting your clients and prospects in the right frame of mind to best receive the message that you are presenting to them. So you can apply this to marketing, you can apply it to prospecting, you can apply it to sales, but pre-framing is an extremely powerful concept that you can harness in your business. So to illustrate pre-framing, MIT did a study a few years ago where they had a handful of students inside of a classroom, and they essentially split this class in half. So one half of the students were going to receive a review of a brand new professor coming in to give a lecture. So the review that they got there, it was saying that the professor is fantastic. They're really good at speaking. They're an excellent teacher. The other half of the room got a bad review of the teacher, a bad overview of the professor coming in, to where that overview said that the teacher was short, lacking knowledge, did not know what they were talking about. And so the professor came in, gave a lecture to the class. And what was really interesting was that after, again, same lecture to the same students, both that received the good overview and the bad overview. But as the professor came in and gave that lecture and left, the students received a survey afterward asking to review the professor. What was interesting is that those that received a good overview of the professor before the lecture gave a glowing review. They were like, hey, professor was awesome. That was excellent. Great stuff. Those that received a bad overview of the professor before walking in, exact opposite, right? So they're like, man, the professor didn't know what they were talking about. They were awful. It was not good, right? And that all had to do with the pre-framing that happened beforehand. Another example is, I don't know about you guys, I love going to Disneyland. It's been Like growing up, I loved going to Disneyland. My parents would take me with my kids. My oldest daughter right now is 7. My youngest daughter is a year and a half. I've got a 5-year-old boy right in the middle there. I try to take them to Disneyland as much as I can. The prices are going up, which is always, I don't like watching that. But going to Disneyland, if you go there, you can see pre-framing in action at every step of the park. So when you walk into Disneyland, you'll notice that as soon as you walk through the gates, right, you're going to start being funneled down what's called Main Street. Now on Main Street, you've got, different sounds going on. They've got music in the background. They've got themed offices and stores on the side. You've got a certain style of font and text and smells in the air. And so Disney, what's their main goal? It's not just to have you have a good time, right? They want you to be pulling out that credit card. Yep, that's right. Yeah, they want you pulling out your wallet. They want you buying stuff. And so what they're doing is, as you go through Main Street, they're pre-framing you for the experience you're about to have inside of Disneyland. Now, Disneyland is divided into several different lands, right? You've got Tomorrowland, Adventureland, Fantasyland, all that kind of stuff, right? As you go into these various lands, they're going to deepen that pre-framing that you're about to have. So as you go from Main Street over into Adventureland, the first thing you'll notice is that all of a sudden, the style of everything is going to change, right? So you've got different fonts. You've got in Adventureland, you've got more of a jungle feel, an adventurous feel. You've got adventurous music playing. And then as you're going on these various rides, you're going to get further pre-framed for the ride that you're about to have. So as you go on a ride like the Jungle Cruise, you know that tiger there that is plastic and it's not going to jump out at you. But because you've been pre-framed so well that you're going to have a great experience on the ride, you're going to want to come back over and over and over again. That's why Disneyland is able to make so much more money than these other amusement parks out there, purely because of this pre-framing that gets you into this frame of mind to be able to sell to you more, to get you to pull out your credit card. So with LinkedIn and pre-framing, LinkedIn is a business platform. So people go on LinkedIn for business purposes. When somebody goes onto Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, they're going there typically to hang out with their friends, with their family members, to catch up with them. And so if you reach out with a cold message on Facebook, it comes across as abrupt. It's not natural on the platform. And we've all experienced that, right? We've all had somebody reach out of the blue and say, hey, I don't know if you keep your opportunities open, but blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, that's weird. I don't know you. I'm not here for this, And so that's where it becomes abrasive in that process. On LinkedIn, you still have to be tactful with your messages and your messaging, but people are going to LinkedIn for business purposes and to further their financial situation. So if I reach out with financial opportunities or a way for them to, retire tax-free or whatever it might be, they've been pre-framed, or they've pre-framed themselves to be able to receive that message in a better light. So that pre-framing is key. If we look at the current landscape of LinkedIn right now, there are over 810 million members on LinkedIn worldwide, over 180 million members in the United States alone. So one of the questions I get all the time is like, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. I don't know if they're on LinkedIn. I guarantee with over 180 million members on LinkedIn, your dream client is on LinkedIn. You just need to know how to attract them. One of the other things that I really like about the LinkedIn landscape right now is that 44% of LinkedIn users make $75,000 or more per year. And we can increase the likelihood that we're going to get in front of somebody that's either higher income, higher net worth, by who we're targeting on LinkedIn. So are we looking for a business owner? Are we looking for a doctor? Are we looking for a dentist? That's how we're going to be able to get in front of somebody who is already concerned about the problems that we have solutions for. If somebody's making $60,000 per year, I mean, not knocking that in any way, shape, or form. They still need life insurance and everything, but they're probably not going to be looking at financial solutions in the same light that somebody who is making $600,000 per year or $6 million per year or is worth $60 million or more, right? So that's where we need to be putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. That's how we're able to help John right here generate between 30 and 35 new clients and about $230,000 to $250,000 in actual revenue coming through the door. We've worked with John for quite a while now. Absolutely love him. But just to the left here, that's one of the texts that he sent me about a neurosurgeon on LinkedIn who reached out asking for, asking for help with tax planning strategies for a small business. That's a question I get asked all the time is, hey, our doctors on LinkedIn, our surgeons on LinkedIn, The answer is yes. You just need to be able to have the right messaging, be able to get in front of them the right way. So we've had other clients here where just by connecting with the right person off on the left, this person reached back out to our client, was like, hey, I'm going to accept your connection request first off. But second, like, this is awesome. I'm retiring in July. I need to speak with somebody. I've got $400,000 to work with. Can you help me? Now, not every case that you land on LinkedIn or that you come across is going to be, a 6-7 figure case. We have Janetta over here on the right who, took an app on LinkedIn that was about $1,500 to $3,000 in commission, right? First client she ever landed on LinkedIn. But that's where we're looking at, hey, let's get you some of these smaller wins while gearing you up to get some of those elephant cases walking through as well. So just to recap on point number one. So LinkedIn is currently the key to getting unlimited high net worth business owner and high income earning prospects on demand. Now, I added that word currently in there because our team is constantly testing out, hey, what's the next trend? What's the next platform? So that way we're always optimizing it for our advisors and our clients. So number two, how to get these premium prospects to take action and digitally raise their hand, asking to learn more about who you are and what you offer. Now, with this point, remember, I mentioned before, you can't pay your bills with connections and conversations, right? So you need to not only get these connections and get those connections and conversations can be part of the process, but what you really want is people taking action and digitally raise their hand, asking to learn more about who you are and what you offer. So this is what we're looking to accomplish right here. These are just some of our advisors who have clients booking themselves on our advisors' calendars, right? So the key takeaway to this point is that you must get these prospects off of social media, off of email, or whatever that platform is, as fast as possible and into your digital environment. So the reason for that is that it is so easy to scroll on social media, right? It's easy to flick your thumb right up and scroll right past the post. It's easy to exit out of the message. You're competing with thousands of other profiles, thousands of other people on that social media platform. So if you can get those prospects off of LinkedIn, off of email, and into a digital environment that you control, that's where you can further that nurturing, that indoctrination, that education, because you are the one controlling that environment. Again, think about Disneyland, right? You're walking down Main Street. You're not looking out at the parking lot. You're not looking out at the freeway. You're not looking out at the restaurant across the street. You are in Disneyland's domain, and they're the ones who are educating, nurturing, and indoctrinating you in that process. So the question is, how do you do this, right? How do you get them off of social media? So the best way to do that is by positioning value-based offers. Now, these value-based offers, you can call them bait, lead magnets, attraction tools. One of the professionals that we just formed a partnership with, Dr. Vicki Rackner of engagingdoctors.com, she refers to these as yummy treats, right? But what you do is you offer these typically in exchange for somebody's contact information, so you are able to follow up with them. I'll touch on that again in just a minute. But when you are picking your bait, that's a question that I get all the time. How do you pick that lead magnet? So a good way to illustrate this is fishing, right? So I grew up in Idaho until about high school, moved to Washington State, so I was in the Pacific Northwest. So I did a fair amount of fishing. I guarantee somebody that's watching this knows a lot more about fishing than I do. So I'm going to be really careful to not get out of my league here. But I Googled, okay, so if you're going to go fishing, what fish can you catch with a worm? Now, Google is telling me, hey, you can catch just about any freshwater fish with a worm. Just about any freshwater fish will eat a worm. So what if I wanted to catch a certain type of fish? Now, this on the screen right here is a sturgeon. You got sturgeon up in Washington. Sturgeon are one of, if not the largest freshwater fish in the world. So if I'm going out and I want to catch a sturgeon, am I just going to go out there with a worm? Probably not, right? Because if I go out with a worm and I'm trying to catch this monster fish, could I potentially catch a sturgeon? Potentially, yeah, it may happen, but who knows what I'm going to catch in that process? I want to be able to match my bait to the type of fish that I'm trying to catch. Marketing is the exact same. It is no different in that process. So think about this. Who would I attract if I offered a gift card or a get rich fast planner template or a guide on how to buy insurance after having your first baby? Well, with a gift card, that's kind of like a worm, right? Everybody can use a gift card. Everybody wants a gift card. It doesn't matter if you're making, $1,000 a year or $1 million a year, you can use a gift card, right? And so in that process, who knows who you're going to catch with the gift card. If you're going to offer a get rich fast plan or template, you're probably going to attract somebody who wants to get rich fast, right? Or a guide on how to buy insurance after having your first baby. You're probably going to attract people who either just had or are about to have their first baby, right? So with the different types of lead magnets that you can offer, try to think about what you currently have or have access to, and it's a great place to start. So that lead magnet can be a video, it can be a training, it can be a webinar, it can be a checklist, it can be a book, it can be a PDF, a special report, a white paper, anything in between. A lead magnet simply needs to be matched up to the type of prospect that you're looking to attract. Make sense? So a case study of this. So we have an advisor named Armando. He's a financial planner. His focus is on business owners. When we started working with him, it was his first year in the industry. And so he had messaged people on LinkedIn in the past, was doing great with connections and trying to get conversations started, but he had never really seen any tangible results coming from LinkedIn. And so we were able to work with him. We figured out, okay, here's the lead magnet we want to use. Here's the system, designed and created that for him. And then that text that he sent me, we're just saying, hey, we're going to keep you in the loop as we get launched. We launched it. And then he sent me this text back that was almost giddy, right? He's like, hey, somebody already scheduled. This is awesome. Meaning somebody already booked an appointment on his calendar. And so within the first week, this is what his Calendly account looked like, where he had people booking times on his calendar from LinkedIn for the first time ever, right? So all these people were booking financial opportunity maximization discussions. You can change around the type of strategy session or discovery call that you're offering. But the key was getting these people to book on his calendar. Now, when it comes to getting these people to book, one of the things that I really like to do, and you can go ahead and steal this one, but if we're looking to get people to book on our calendar, is that one of the things that I like to do, especially when you're using Calendly or one of those scheduling apps or programs, is that I like adding this question in here as a requirement for them to book is, hey, what's your biggest financial pain point right now? Or what are you most worried about when it comes to your financial goals? That way they can give you a hint, or at least the starting point of what they are thinking about, what's on their mind. And for us, us marketing nerds on the background, we want to make sure that as we're getting people to book on your calendar, we are actually attracting the type of people that you are looking to work with. So what we were doing with this campaign specifically is we wanted business owners, and we were looking for those that were dealing with that tax pain point, right? And so here's a little, just again, the case study of who this person was on the screen before that was booking that appointment. So this, excuse me, this individual, John, off of LinkedIn, you see he's the co-owner of his company. We were able to go out and connect with him, sent that follow-up message to be able to get that individual off of LinkedIn as fast as possible, right? And then in that process, not only did that prospect request the lead magnet, but followed up and actually booked a time on Armando's calendar. Again, without Armando having to worry about anything in that process, which was awesome. But the main pain point of that business owner was taxes, right? So that lets us know, hey, we're getting the right people that are coming through with the right pain points, right? So the question is probably, okay, how do I pick a lead magnet? So remember that the list I had before, where you can do videos, webinars, case studies, trainings, whatever, right? Anything in between. What I'd say is, first, make sure to not get analysis paralysis. Look at what you already have access to and see if that's something that will match the prospects that you're looking to attract. Now, with us, what we like to do is we're keeping a pulse on the market, right? So we want to see, okay, how are people coming in? What are they, what's attracting those individuals? What's getting them to move forward? So that's what we're here to help you with. So if you have questions, always just let us know, say, hey, here's what I'm looking at attracting, what's working. And again, like I said, I'm an open book, and that's something that I can help you with in the process. So another individual we were able to help was Steve. So Steve was in our program for about 2 months when he sent me this text. I love how nonchalant he was with his text. It was like, we were going through, there was a Calendly link that he had changed. And he was like, oh, hey, by the way, like, my bad. Can you go fix this in the follow-up email sequences and stuff? And then he just like sent me a text out of the blue. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm closing a deal that should be about $40,000 in target. It's like, okay, cool. Like, that's awesome. I love it. I mean, let me know what it's about. Like, I want to hear more about it, but that's what I like to see coming through. We had Tom here, who, man, within the first 1 or 2 months, he landed a business owner client selling his software company on LinkedIn The software company is being sold for about $30 million. There's going to be a lot of planning opportunities in that process, from business exit to retirement, legacy planning, all that kind of stuff, which is awesome. So one of the questions that I get all the time is, hey, am I sharing too much information with my lead magnet? Am I giving away too much for free? Which is a valid question. It's something that I struggled with for a long time. And occasionally I struggle with this still, right? But the thing you have to remember is, hey, if you introduce something of value to a prospect, chances are that they will associate that value with you, especially in this market, okay? If you're looking for high income earners, for high net worth individuals, for business owners, chances are that they will tell you that they've got a financial guy, they've got a financial girl, they've got a CPA. They're going to say that even if they don't, right? Maybe it's their, cousins, brothers, nephews, aunts, dogs, previous owner, whatever, right? They know a guy, right? And so that's where if you can go in and you can provide that value, they're going to associate that value with you, and they're going to want to move forward with you 9 times out of 10, right? So to recap this point, you're going to want to get your prospects to take action and digitally raise their hand to learn more about who you are, what you offer, and actually book themselves on your calendar by using lead magnets to get them off of social media and off of email and into your digital environment. All right. So now number 3, and this is probably the most important part of this process, right? So how to capitalize on every opportunity with your prospects and capture as much revenue as possible without burning out. That's the most important thing, right? So again, you didn't sign up to be a marketer. You didn't sign up to be a cold caller. You didn't sign up to become a tech wizard or whatever. So you want to be helping clients, but you need to be able to capitalize on those opportunities without burning out. So one of the advisors that we're working with, his name is Barry. So he sent me this email. His junior advisor in his office, his name is Dan. So Dan and Barry were sending me emails. We had just launched their campaign, and I was trying to keep a pulse on, okay, is it working? Is it not working? Do we need to adjust? And that's where we want to make sure that, hey, is this working for you? We're not just sticking you inside of a one size fits all system and saying, all right, we'll talk to you in 30 days once the next bill's due. So we'll go through and we'll tweak it as we go. So Dan sent me this email, excuse me, and he said, one of the 5 people booked an appointment for next Tuesday, one of the 5 leads. He's showing me, who it was. Barry sends me this email down below, and he's like, okay, here's John. He's an attorney. Here's Cheryl. She booked this day. Harley booked at this time. And so within the first 7 to 10 days, I believe, he had 10 leads come in, 10 requests for his lead magnet, and 4 consultations or discovery calls that were booked right away. And so that's great, right? If you're getting 4 leads booking themselves, asking to learn more, asking to take the next steps, that's awesome. But the question is, what about the 6 other leads that didn't book an appointment, right? Another one of my favorite advisors to work with is Kara. So Kara, I'll go through a little bit more of her situation just a little bit, but last year, I believe she closed, it was either over $250,000 or $300,000 in revenue off of the system that we built for her. But this is a testimonial that she wrote pretty early on in that campaign. She's like, hey, I've been overwhelmed by the instant success as the campaign has gone viral. I've received over 100 leads and have close to half wanting to talk with me. Most of the contacts I have made are with very affluent clients. For example, this week I stumbled into 2 large cases with clients net worth over $10 million. So that's awesome, right? Again, 100 leads come through, over half want to talk to her. Affluent clients are coming through, but the question is, what about the other half? What about the 50 who didn't book on our calendar, right? Remember, we want to capitalize on every opportunity with our prospects. So the typical process that you'll see is lots of phone calls from advisors, lots of messages on social media, lots of emails to each person, lots of guesswork, and then boom, burnout, right? Because again, you don't want to be a marketer. You don't want to be a lead chaser. So the key to this is that systems save lives. Systems are going to save your business life. Systems are going to save your personal life. If you don't have a system, you are going to get burned out or miss out on opportunities, or both, right? So with that system, a system can look, excuse me, something like this, okay? So with a system, we're going to look over here on the, let me see if I can get my mouse working. Over here on the left-hand side, we're going to have our traffic source. Again, no one size fits all. You may like Facebook, you may like Instagram, you may be killing it on TikTok. The key is to have a traffic source where your prospects are, okay? So on the next page, we are going to have, again, we're getting them off of social media, off of email as fast as possible into our digital environment. We're going to give them the ability to request a lead magnet. They request that bait. remember, typically that's offered in exchange for contact information. So once we get that contact information, two things are going to happen. The first thing is that we always want to give our prospects the ability to take the next step with us if they're ready. You're going to have some people who are, their pain point is so high that they're like, hey, I got to get out of this. I need help. You're here. Yep. I want to talk to you. Let's take the next steps. We have an advisor down in the Southeast who we sent messages out for him on LinkedIn. And I went back and traced this, and it doesn't always happen this way. So let me put a giant asterisk next to this. All right. So it was the second person that we messaged for him on LinkedIn, went through, requested his lead magnet, booked a call, a consultation for the very next day. It ended up being a business owner who was in the process of selling his business for $30 million, different than the advisor I was showing earlier. Kind of funny. It's two business owners selling businesses for $30 million. What are the chances? But he was selling his business for over $30 million. He had $6 million in cash, liquid, and other investments. And he was like, hey, my CPA is running out of ideas on how to save taxes, on how to build and protect this wealth. Like, can you help me? Right. And so his pain point was so strong. And the advisor was right there saying, hey, this is what I help you with. To where he's like, hey, let's book that consultation, that strategy session. And if you can do it, let's get going. So he's able to land that $30+ million business owner client purely by offering the right lead magnet and by giving him the ability to take the next steps. Now, the next thing that's going to happen is that for those that are not ready to take the next steps, which is going to be a large portion typically of those that are coming in as leads, requesting your lead magnet, is that you need to, you need to have the ability to continue to educate, nurture, indoctrinate, and always give them the ability to book the next steps with you. I love email for this process. There are a lot of people out there who will say, email marketing is dead, email doesn't work. And if anybody ever tells you that something doesn't work, watch, the next thing that's going to be coming out of their mouth is to sell you something, right? So there are so many things that can work if you do it the right way, which is where I love email as part of that follow-up sequence. You can include phone calls and text messages and bonbon videos. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, but a key component, a good, simple glue to hold it all together is this email that can happen as part of that nurture sequence. So that's where, going back to Kara and how she was able to capture so much revenue last year, is because we had that system in place so that as individuals came through, requested that lead magnet, they're going through, they're able to book themselves on her calendar. And you'll see right here, we're attracting the right people. We had a real estate broker who made over $300,000, needed tax deduction ideas. So that's who we're looking to bring in through that process. So again, just as a quick little recap, is the system can look something like this. Again, you've got your traffic source over here. You've got your opt-in page, or the place where you're offering that lead magnet or that bait in exchange for their contact information. You're able to give them the ability to book an appointment with you right away. In that process, you're able to follow up with them, educate them, indoctrinate them. We want to automate this as much as possible, so you're not going out and sending an email a day to everybody. And then also, you can start positioning additional lead magnets, additional offers, or additional ways to approach that sale so you can capture as much of that revenue as possible. Make sense? All right. So just to recap that last point. So systems are key to maximizing opportunities with every prospect and capturing as much revenue as possible without burning out. So think about that really fast. So if you had that system set up where you're attracting, nurturing, and converting your prospects on autopilot, think about what that would do for your business, and think about what that would do for your personal life as well, to where your evenings aren't taken up by making those cold calls or chasing down prospects, because you have that system in place doing it for you. So David, if it's okay with you, am I good to walk through, how some of our systems are set up or what we typically include with these?
By all means, and I'm definitely getting my own ideas generating and such. So I want to see how my ideas are matching up with your experience.
Perfect.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
Sounds good. Perfect. Yeah. So with the majority of our systems, we have some that we can, depending on where you're at, right? So we can either set up a system for you, turn it over for you to run. And so that way it's like, you don't have to worry about piecing together sales funnels. You don't have to worry about piecing together the email follow-ups or guessing what's working. So we can take these systems and set them up for you, or we have completely done for you systems where you don't have to worry about a thing until your prospect has already digitally raised their hand asking to learn more about what you do, who you are, and what you have to offer. So that's them booking themselves on your calendar. That's them requesting your lead magnet and expecting a follow-up call. But with the majority of our done for you systems, we're typically going to include what's going to be on your screen right here. I'll dive through these in just a second, but it's always going to, especially if we're starting on LinkedIn, we're always going to start with revamping your LinkedIn profile. So we're going to go through the cover photo and all that kind of stuff. We'll go in a second. We'll get you that marketing system that's actually working, so you're not doing that guesswork. We do the targeting and the tracking of your dream clients for you. So the connection request, the follow-up messaging, email marketing, and then putting that follow-up nurturing process in place as well. And then we also get you access to a CRM or opportunity pipeline so that you can see everything in one snapshot of where everybody's at, who needs followed up with. And that's included in what we do. It's not an additional add-on price or anything like that. So with the LinkedIn profile, the first thing we're going to do is go through your cover photo. Make sure that it matches the look and feel of what we're going to be doing, who we're going to be attracting. And more than anything, making sure that it jives with whatever our campaign is going to be. So right now we're putting together a program for doctors, or to market to doctors, right? So in our cover photo, we want to have messaging, or we want to have images or something that ties into the medical industry, so that as a doctor looks at your profile, they're like, oh, okay, David works with doctors, right? Dave works with doctors, whatever it might be. The next is going to be your headline, making sure that that's a good, almost like an elevator pitch for who you are, or more than that is how you help everybody. And then we'll go through, we'll do your about section, we'll do the optimization and stuff like that. One of these individuals, as I mentioned before, this is a separate case he's able to land. So Mike landed a business owner client on LinkedIn. He's got a $40 million business. The planning fee alone for this case was $10,000. That's before any products are sold, before any other solutions are implemented. That's just the planning fee that they were able to get from the client to start the process of mapping out solutions, right? And all Mike had to do, or what we did for him, was we revamped his LinkedIn profile so that it told the prospects that looked at his profile exactly who Mike was, what he specialized in, and then we helped him connect with the right person who looked at his profile, and they were like, hey, can you help me? Is this something that you can do? And that's where the case was able to snowball from there, just by connecting with the right person and having the right profile in place. So the next thing that we're going to do, excuse me, is have implement a proven marketing system that works, right? We've been able to prove it from Washington State down to Florida, and we include everything into that process that you're going to need to be able to attract, nurture, and convert those prospects. So there's the funnel system, the sales systems. We've got the lead magnets inside of there that work. Like what you're seeing on the screen right now is what we're doing with the doctor campaign with Dr. Vicki Rackner. We're using one of her books as a lead magnet. Each of the systems is designed and customized to you and your brand, right? So it's not something that's generic. It's got your headshot, your logo, all that kind of stuff. The next thing that we do is we go out and do the lead search and targeting. So if you're saying, hey, I want to work with doctors, or I want to work with business owners, that's our team going in, and we're doing all of the targeting. We're sending out the connection requests. We're sending out the customized messages to go with that. Once somebody comes in and they're a connection, we're actually going out for you and sending out messages to those new connections, again, to get them off of LinkedIn as fast as possible and into your digital environment. Now, part of that is going to be some email marketing in the process as well. If we're able to get somebody's email off of LinkedIn, we want to plug that into a nurturing sequence, right? Build those email lists up for you and have that as part of the overall campaign, again, so that we're maximizing every opportunity. Now, the next thing is making sure that we have those follow-up and nurturing processes in place, so that as somebody becomes a lead, as somebody requests more information, is that we're not just hanging them out to dry. We're not just hoping that they take the next steps. When it comes to marketing, hope is a terrible strategy. So if you're hoping that somebody knows where to go for the next steps, chances are they're not going to. If they, man, we've seen this time and time again, even with advisors and their friends, right? So when we're going out on somebody's LinkedIn, a lot of times they're connected with their friends or maybe even family members on LinkedIn. And so the thing that I've seen over and over is that the advisor has never been in a sales role when speaking with these friends. And so what happens is as we're going out and sending messages, again, we're very conversational, very relationship based. But as we position these lead magnets, again, to somebody's warm market, they're like, oh, man, I didn't know, John, I didn't know you did this. I didn't know that you did tax-free retirement planning. I didn't know that you did X, Y, and Z. And so that puts them in the process of being able to learn more about who you are, what you do, what you have to offer. And that allows them to take the next steps as well. Even though you may have known this person for 15 years, they've never been given the opportunity to take the next step more directly. And so they've never taken it. So that's how most of our leads and prospects are going to be, is if they don't know where to go, or you're not giving them the next step right in front of them, they're not going to do it. They don't know how important what you do is. So they're just not going to do it. Right. So with that follow-up process, we have the email sequences, we've got follow-up scripts, the phone call scripts, we have lead magnet delivery best practices, all that's going to be included in that. So next thing is going to be access to that CRM or opportunity pipeline. Again, this isn't something that it's not a proprietary system of ours. It's not anything that it's like, hey, we created this brand new CRM and it's better than anything else out there. What it is it's where the platform is going to be built out, and it's all integrated together so that as somebody becomes a lead, it automatically populates in an opportunity pipeline or CRM for you. So you can see where that person's at. If they book a call, their information is going to automatically be moved over to that next stage where it says, hey, so-and-so booked a call. If you need to follow up with them, boom, you move it over to the next pipeline. And our email sequences and automation are going to be, I call it smart tagging or smart sequencing, so that as somebody books a call, they're going to stop receiving the email sequences that encourage them to book a call, right? If they are in the follow-up process, they're going to receive messaging that's, part of that follow-up, not necessarily saying, hey, let's talk for the first time, because that comes across as weird, right? They're like, okay, are you real? Are you not real? And so that's how we've been able to go through and get these wins for the advisors. So John, again, I think $250,000 in revenue. Kara, over $300,000 in revenue last year. Mike hit that $40,000 case that came through, the $40 million business owner client. And then we've had, all this stuff in between, right? So if you guys have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them right now. There are a few places that you can go. Feel free to email me directly if you have questions. If you're like, hey, do you do X, Y, and Z, or can you position this? I'm more than happy to answer those questions. Again, I'm an open book. We've got our website, trendadvisor.com. And if you're looking for an intro into the LinkedIn marketing, if you go to linklifeagent.com, there's a very, very simple mini boot camp that we put together. That's like the gateway to getting in. It's very low cost. I think right now it's like $37 or $31 or something like that. But it's a good start to the process. But that being said, David, you said you have some questions. You want to jam on those right now?
I personally don't have any questions, and unfortunately, I had to take a call in the middle here, so I missed out on half of the meat that you were talking about. I'm sure. And so the good part is that this is being recorded. It's going to be on Facebook. I'll upload it to YouTube, and I'll definitely have a chance to re-review it.
Perfect.
I know that for me, I'm looking to create my own lead magnet, and I've even got a custom URL. I've got taxexemptwealth.com. Can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, awesome.
I don't have right now. It's pointing to my main website. And my main website is like a firm website. It's not meant to generate a whole lot of leads. So I need to create more of that funnel type of a thing, create that lead magnet, and then put them into the next step. And right now, the only thing I'm doing right now is I stole the idea from Jeremiah Demary, where he was talking about these quote posts, and I'm posting those about once a week. Yeah. And I'm getting industry people commenting, but every once in a while I get someone who's kind of in my target on Facebook who'll kind of comment on it and okay, we're starting to germinate some ideas here, and maybe I'll reach out to them soon. And then I got someone else who's commenting. I'm like, I do not want you as a client. I love you like a sister, but I am not touching that.
Yep. Totally get that. Yeah, it's what I love is that the first step is being active, right? Which is perfect. So is starting somewhere, getting that foundation built is key, so that as you have those next steps ready, then you're able to just plug them in and go. So the fact that you've been posting already, that's getting eyeballs on it. Even if somebody, and this is where it can be discouraging for some advisors if you don't get those likes, right? If you're just, you've got 3 people that liked your post, and one of them is your mom, one of them is your kid, and another one's an aunt, right? Happens to everybody. It's not, it can be discouraging, but if you think about it this way, where even if somebody doesn't like it, and especially on LinkedIn, where likes tend to be a lot lower than somewhere like Instagram or Facebook, it's people are still seeing it, so that as you get the next steps in place and you give somebody the opportunity to take the next step forward, they're good to go. One of the worst things that you can do is get analysis paralysis. and not do anything and feel like you have to have it perfect before you do anything. And so that's where it's like, man, kudos to you for getting the process started. And you're like, hey, I'll figure out the rest as I go.
Absolutely. And I don't know why everybody's calling me right now, but I've got to take another call. But anyway.
You are good. You are good.
Yeah. So anyway, but no, the ideas are germinating, and of course, setting up the automation of everything because I've got a social security workshop that I'm doing, and I am
Perfect.
promoting it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I've got over 30 people responded already. I've got another 3.5 weeks of marketing to go. So
There
I
you
should have
go.
more than 100 people registering, but
Awesome.
it's the nurturing, reaching out, and I'd like to automate that as best as I can. The hardest part about LinkedIn for me anyway is that, see, I put my middle initial after my first name.
Yeah.
And then whenever I get messages that have, David H that show up, then I'm like, okay, I know you're using an automated bot or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um, so anyway, I don't know. My mind is going to different places because I'm getting distracted. So I apologize on that. But I know you've got great stuff. I
Okay.
need to go back and re-review. Let's see what else we got. So that's when's my Social Security meeting? I'm doing it on Cinco de Mayo, which is a terrible date to pick when you're in Southern California. But but hey, I'm still getting plenty of attention, so I'll take it.
There you go.
I'm gonna apologize. Shakina Israel asks, "What is the cost of your system?" So that's a question for you, of course.
Good question. Yeah. So the cost of our system is going to be different depending on which one you do. And that's where, if you and I can have a conversation, we'll figure out what your market is, where you want to be. And then from there, figure out the system that's going to work best for you. So some of our systems are, excuse me, they're, about $1,000 to run. Some of them are going to be up around $2,500. There's some that are, we're putting one together right now that's $20,000, but it's a huge, giant, massive system. So that's where you and I can, Shakina, if you want to go to, or send me an email directly, actually, that would be the best thing. You and I can figure out a time to talk so I can learn more about, what you're looking to accomplish, and we'll figure out that system that works best. That way we're not trying to, again, there's no one size fits all. So let's say you're trying to attract, I don't know, you're trying to attract business owner clients for legacy planning. Well, I don't want to say, hey, here's our tax-free retirement campaign and just hope it attracts the right people. So that's where you and I can connect and figure out the best system for you specifically.
Excellent. I don't have any other questions on the Facebook side, and that's it in our chat here. But hey, we're right up here at the top of the hour. Oh, wait, here we go. Jolie says, Tyson, I missed the first part of the Zoom. I save it at 2 o'clock Eastern instead of 1. Can we talk more after this? And I'm sure the answer is yes, to email you. At the same time, because you missed the first part, it's going to be on Facebook, and I'll be downloading from Facebook and uploading it to YouTube.
Perfect.
By the way, I don't think I caught any particular offer that had a time sensitivity or deadline on that. So I think this is going to be a timeless kind of a
Correct.
thing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
one of the things that we will be putting together. So there's that Linked Life Agent Challenge that we put together, that mini boot camp. We're actually going to be doing a new boot camp coming up here. It's going to be probably over the course of 2 days or so. We're going to do that one live, but that's going to be probably mid-May is when we have that. So if you want to be notified of when we go live with that or when we're going to be offering that, again, feel free to shoot me your contact information. Excuse me. If you've gone through that Linked Life Agent Challenge before that boot camp, then you're going to be able to get a discount on the new boot camp or that new program that we're putting together.
Nice. And that is a very good introduction for optimizing your profile and such. I've gone through it a few times. I'm definitely ready for the next step on that. But it is very good to make sure that your profile is optimized to try to attract the right kind of business and the right kind of attention. I need to revamp my profile just a little bit more, but it's getting there. So
awesome. That's what I'm saying. It's better to start than get analysis paralysis. So that's perfect.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I can't think of anything else. Nothing else is coming through. So let's just leave it at that because
Awesome.
I don't know why I'm so popular today. But anyway, thank you so much, Tyson. I'm glad that you're able to share this information. And anybody that's looking to engage with Tyson, believe me, you want to. I mean, if he could get you a fraction of what he's done for other people, by all means, that should be a very well worth investment. Just even if it's just the one time. So I'll leave it at that. But thank you so much for coming on board with us. And we'll see everybody next month. Next month, I've got Tom Hegna. So
Awesome.
that should be a fun one. And I don't know if it's new. I think we're going to talk about his new book. I don't think it's published just yet. So he's got that should be fun because I'm quoted in the book. So I need to utilize that one. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much. And I'll see you back in the groups. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, David.
All right.